guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Symbiat and this is Symbiat 101. So if you are new here, welcome to the family. Please hit on the subscribe button to be a part of the family here. So today will be today I'll be taking you guys through the eight I'll be taking you guys through the eight type of dart and dart placement you should know as a beginner in sewing. So don't mind me looking, if you see me looking down a couple of times, please. I actually jotted down some stuff in my notepad there, so don't mind that. So that is a technique used to give proper shape to garments by curving straight fabrics to the body. Darts are produced by stitching a long thin confine to a point which is then pressed down to the sides. Darts are mostly found in women's clothing to fit the shape of the garment to your body in a complementary way. Darts also create styles line that add to a design. So we have two basic type of darts. We have the single pointed dart and we have the double pointed dart. So the single pointed dart, it is the most common dart. It is the most common dart and it is mostly used on skirts, on blouses. It is mostly used on our waistline, on our trouser. The single dart is narrow at one end and wide at the other, with the triangle shape of an angle with a single dart point or two dart lines. On the single dart point, you can actually make it a single dart line or two dart line, depending on the shape you are trying to achieve, or depending on the kind of fit you are trying to give the look. So now we are going to our second basic type of dart, which is your double pointed dart. So this double pointed dart is also known as your fish eye dart or your body dart, and this is the mostly used dart. We mostly use this in our jackets or in our dresses, and your dresses has your jacket mostly, it goes around the silhouette of your body. So we use the double pointed dart to give your jacket the kind of fitting you want, like your blazers. If you observe your blazers or your winter jackets or your winter coats, if you observe it very well and look at the way the darts are sewn in, it is sewn in a way that brings out your fitting around your waistline. So this type of dart is sharp and narrow at both ends. So now we'll be discussing the different type of dart placement. So we have 8 different type of dart placement, or probably we have more, but I'm going to be discussing the 8 type of dart placements you need to know as a beginner in sewing. So first one I'm going to be discussing is your bust dart. This type of dart is usually starting 2 inches below your armhole. It's usually starting 2 inches below your armhole, and it is also called your side dart. It is a straight dart and fits under the arm, pointing towards your bust point. So now we'll be going to our number 2 type of dart placement, which is your shoulder dart. And your shoulder dart is the type of dart that is used for proper fitting of the garment on the shoulder area. The dart angle is totally dependent on the design and pattern. So now we'll be going to our number 3rd type of dart placement, which is your dart tuck. This type of dart are sewn as the normal dart. This type of dart is usually confused as the normal dart, but there is a little difference between this type of dart and your bust dart. So now the difference is the point of left. The only difference here is that the point of the left dart is open, and it helps to give a pleated look to garments. This allows fullness to be released below the stitching point. So I'm going to be placing some images on the screen so you guys can relate with what I'm saying. So now we are moving to the next type of dart placement, which is your elbow dart. And this elbow dart is mostly used on your sleeve. So it is used to make your sleeve more fitted. So these are set in elbows. They are mostly useful to generate the fitted shape in sleeve for more tailored look around your sleeve. So now we are moving to our curved dart. Your curved dart, on some patterns, curved darts are drawn with tender curve. This type of dart creates fullness on skirts and on pants. This curved dart is mostly used on your skirts and on your pants trouser. The direction of the dart is depending on the concave direction or your convex direction. So I'm going to be attaching an image there so you guys can understand what we mean by your concave direction and our convex direction. So your concave direction describes shapes that curves inward, while your concave describes shapes that curves outward. Your examples of concave direction are your that's your hourglass shape. Your hourglass shape curves inwardly, while the example of your convex direction is like a round shape, a circle shape. For example, just like a football is curving round outwardly, and not inwardly. So now we'll be moving to our number 6 type of dart placement. So we have your sleeve hem dart. So this is slightly different from our elbow dart. So don't be confused by the name sleeve hem dart. So this is a little dart tilt from the hem at the little finger boundary of the sleeve, sloping towards the elbow to decline the sleeve. It helps for proper fitting of the wrist and elbow. So this is mostly used to give a kind of fitting to your wrist, to the wrist part of your sleeve. So now we're moving to our next type of dart placement, which is your skirt and pants dart. This type of dart starts from the waistline, sloping towards your hip line, and this is like most common type of dart. It's also part of the most common type of dart that we use, your skirt and pants dart. So as per your choice, how much fit you require. You can have 2 darts on either side of the center of the skirt depending on what you want. So now we have come to, like, this is the last point here, your French darts. A lot of us don't really make use of these French darts, but this can serve if you don't want to draft out a bustier on your top or on your dress. You can make use of the French darts. So this type of dart starts from your waistline and angles up towards your bust line. This type of dart usually give like a bust like shape to your blouses or your top. So you can actually adopt this type of dart in the case when you don't want to use a bustier, you don't want to draft out a bustier. So you can use this type of dart. So guys, we have come to the end of today's tutorial, or we have come to the end of today's lesson. So I hope you guys understand, and if you can relate with this type of dart, please comment that in the comment section. And if you like to ask me further questions on that, or you like to see more videos on that, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in my next one. Peace.